All right, I am live on YouTube getting ready to draw some sketch cards. Anybody who joins in can go ahead and help me out by giving me suggestions of what kind of characters I can be drawing. I was trying to do this on Facebook Live, but for whatever reason, it wasn't allowing me to do so, it just kept bouncing back to my integrated camera. So now I'm actually trying to get started on here. As you can see, I'm going to try to get some more light in here as well. That might be too much light. That's my phone. That's my camera phone. But anyways, I'm checking to see if I've got some other people joining in and taking a look. Also want to make sure that I don't have any sound coming through anything as I do this. All right, so we are live. I am on here, and I figure we'll go ahead and we'll see if we can get some sketch cards drawn. So the first one I'm doing is a character that I think a similar character is finally going to make a junior high horrors appearance, which I'm pretty excited about. What's up, Chris Barrett? I decided I'd do some sketching on here. So if you have any suggestions of cartoon characters you want to see me try to draw, I will be more than happy to try to oblige. Got some different sketch cards that I'll show off while I'm doing this. Got a Mickey Mouse one down here that I'll show off as well. And let's see. So we're trying to draw a character that I've never tried to draw before, but might be making a debut appearance in an upcoming issue of Junior High Horrors. If you think you know who it is, go ahead and mention it in the comments before I actually get to where we know who it is, and see what everybody thinks there. If you can't see, I'll from time to time pop it up there for you. Now that I've got a little bit of the art already started on there, I can go to my ink and let's see what we do here. Might have to use some microns on this one because you'll stay quiet on it, Eric. You think you already know who it is, huh? Of course you do. Like I wouldn't tell you first, considering you're the artist of my comic series. So probably need to get you doing some of this stuff online instead of just having me do it, because that's obviously like why we do it, right? So no, it's definitely not Hellraiser, Chris. Although you know he's basically made his appearance in Junior High Horrors already, and in fact the number 8 cover or number 7 cover that I did was actually a Heckraiser cover, and I was quite pleased with it. It was colored by our buddy Federico Siak, and I thought it came out really well. Eric, you liked that one, didn't you? Yeah, Piney's been in quite a few issues, but he really made his first real appearance. I mean, he made his first appearance in the first issue. He was brought in as a character that the boys like and talk to pretty frequently. But in issue 7, he finally got his puzzle box, and even got it to where he was able to be enlightened by it. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I actually really liked that story that we did there. I started this on Facebook, and yet I couldn't get it to work properly. So I came over to YouTube to try to do it. I figured that would work out a little better for everybody. So hopefully we get some more people to join in. You want to give me some suggestions of what characters I should try to be drawing. Oh, are we getting throttled? Are we slowing down here, Eric? I wouldn't be surprised if we do. Like you just said, videos are getting throttled because the government wants the internet available for its necessary things, I guess. It's kind of weird at how many horror characters wear overalls, isn't it? When you think about it. I hadn't really paid attention, and then just realized that JV wears overalls, and Mikey doesn't. Mikey wears his big outfit. But even that, I mean, it's a onesie pretty much. So all right. Any ideas as to who we got now? Yeah, you could say it's a jumpsuit all you want, Eric, but it's still basically a onesie. All right, now I gotta break out the colors. Now I think I've pretty much given it away. Yeah, so Chris, I think you even nailed the name on him, by the way, because his planned name, and I wouldn't say give this out to everybody, but his planned name is going to be Chuckles. So he is definitely going to be one of my new favorite characters, at least for one full story. In fact, I started writing it today, and hope to have it fully written before the end of the week, so that I can get it over to Eric and he can start drawing up what craziness I've got planned for young Chuckles. He's basically going to be a toy that Nancy gets, and we're going to go from there with it, which I'm pretty excited about. But I am pretty darn excited about the possibilities of him, because again, Chucky is definitely a character that probably, like you said, should have already made an appearance in the comic, and obviously he hadn't yet. So the plan now is to have him introduced in, obviously the April Fool's special is out, at least digitally now. So the plan now is to put him in whatever the next special we do is. And originally it was going to be a back to school special, but now who knows if kids are ever going to go back to school. So that's kind of making it a little bit weird. We'll add a little more color to the hair. I'll give everybody a look-see. I think it came out pretty darn well. And now for some background color, just to fill in the rest of the card, because you never want to leave a sketch card on or non-full. So those who haven't read the April Fool's special yet, I'll go ahead and say Eric got me to draw some characters that I never thought I would draw. Laura Palmer and Kyle MacLachlan's character from Twin Peaks. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Eric got to write 8 pages of the book. We kind of wanted to do something a little different than what we had been doing. So I let him write 8 pages. I got to draw them. It was a lot of fun. It's only the second time I've had pages come out. So maybe do a Quarantine's Over special. That's actually not a bad idea, Chris. The only worry there is that we're not even sure that the quarantine will ever technically be over at this rate. So, but more than anything, I think that just trying to get anywhere back to normal is probably important. But so there we go. There's Chucky for everybody. I don't know. Are we focused? I can't tell. My screen is this little tiny screen that I get to see when I look at this stuff. So, but it's funny that you say a Quarantine's Over special. I really look at it as we've already done the issue that everybody should have gotten quarantined, and that was issue number 3 when we did the walking flu, and now everybody apparently has the walking flu. So that kind of did some craziness to everybody as it is. But there's Chucky, or Chuckles as he will be forever referred to in junior high horrors. Thanks, Eric. I know when I actually have an artist tell me that they look good, it actually means something. So, all right. So back to homeschool special. Yeah, well, we could do that. We were contemplating, the length of the book and everything else for junior high horrors. The next special, and in fact, I've actually I'll pull the camera down and I'll show you real quick if it'll pull it up. Oh, it's too bright. But that right there is the actual script for the new junior high horror special that I decided I was going to start writing today, and I really like how it's playing out. I thought it was going to be a quick little eight page little ditty, and sorry, I'm checking messages as I talk on here. It was originally just going to be a little 8-page story, and I'm already on page 6, and I haven't gotten to any of the actual plot really for it, except for like how everything comes to be. And all I can really say is that it's going to be kind of like junior high horrors meets Child's Play meets Toy Story. So. Yeah, Eric, we totally were. We were ahead of the curve when it came to everything with what's going on in the real world out there now. And it's funny because we feel Mikey actually gave the answer to everything, which was just hit it with a bunch of antibiotics and in even issue 5 he just hit everything with Pepto-Bismol. So there's ways to prevent it, but of course social distancing is the number one way to prevent it. So okay, so I've completed my first sketch card. It is of Chucky from Child's Play. So what does everybody want to see next? Anybody got any suggestions for me? Okay, well, not really getting anybody to say anything, so let's just start doodling and see what we come up with. You know who I've never actually tried to draw that I probably should at some point? The blue-eyed thing. So I am going to try to draw not the Michael Chiklis version, which apparently is the only thing I seem to find pictures of online. Come on. Let's see. Let's go. Let's look up animated form. Let's see what we can do here. Might be too animated. And there we go. There's one. We'll take a look at that. pencil to this. We'll start actually trying to fill in some of this stuff. So what's everybody doing on a day like today? Is anybody going to work or anything along those lines? Getting to stay home because their job actually tells them not to come in? I always thought it was funny that Ben Grimm actually had real teeth still, even though he's a giant rock monster. And I always wondered, like, when pieces of the rock would actually like fall off of him, is that just like losing a fingernail for him, or is that you know, I guess I'm trying to figure out like exactly what it means to be the Thing. Yeah, Chris, me too. Actually, I'm glad I get to go into work. If I didn't, I probably would go a little bit nuts at this point. So it is kind of nice knowing that you still have a place to go that gets you away from all the craziness, at least for a little while. All right, so let's see. Now we pull out the color. I think that one of the things that makes Grimm so hard to draw for some people, and I'm definitely going to say that I'm going to be one of those people, is that you got to show weight to the rocks, especially in different spots, because if they're not weighted, then it just all kind of goes together and looks about the same. So you gotta weight the rocks. I always make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? Don't I? It's like having scabs ripped off of them, and well, I don't know. Have we ever seen the Thing bleed, or does he just have big chunks ripped out of him from time to time? Like, I actually don't know how any of that works. It's funny. I look at the the picture that I put up there and show you guys, and it just makes me, see all the mistakes and errors and everything else in my artwork. So I guess it helps, but it kind of stinks as well, because when you see the errors, you just want to fix them, and I don't like to use whiteout or anything, so I just leave the errors when I see them. So I guess the real difference of what you do to show off like the thing would be obviously put in the rocks and everything, but it seems like you add a little more depth to your inks, but you also get the cheat by actually adding it in with the color. So as you're coloring everything in, where did I put the, oh, there's the light orange. As you're doing everything with this, you do everything in the light colors first. Even grab the eraser to get rid of your pencil lines. Now I'm trying to really be professional by erasing all the practice lines on this stuff. But I leave Eric to be the professional artist, not me. Sit there, you color everything in. And then you go back over it with some of the darker color. And then, of course, with it being the thing, I'm going to say that you got to make sure that you got his blue eyes in there. And then I'm even going to do pretty simple on this, just straight up blue background on it. Yeah, so I'm reading the X-Men Fantastic Four series that's going on, because obviously, you know, now with the latest on the X-Men, they want to throw in Franklin Richards because he's a mutant. Apparently, he's losing his powers or something, and as such, they've started working to try to figure out what's going on, and it's interesting because Reed doesn't really know what's going on, so Franklin's getting upset with him because he's wondering whether or not the reason why Reed isn't figuring out what's going on with it, doesn't want to figure out what's going on with it. And, you know, I think that's obviously not the case. You know, obviously he wants to help his son any way he can, but his powers are fading and making him less and less powerful as he goes on, this, that, and the other. And I don't know. I find it a pretty interesting story because they've even somehow figured out how to throw in stuff from the original Fantastic Four X-Men series from like the 80s into it. Pardon me. So Chris, you are not wrong, sir. Going without new books is going to be really difficult, and news came out today that Diamond actually says that they are going to struggle to pay the publishers on the books as well. So it's going to be a really interesting time for everybody with that. So there's the thing. Not my best. I still think it came out okay. First time I tried drawing them, so I mean it is what it is. I'm sure if I try to draw them more and more often, I will get better at it. So there's another card down. Chucky definitely came out better than the Thing, but I'll take it. All right. What's next? During the Paul Ryan run, the thing had to they said I'm sorry. So they said they've decided not to. How am I supposed to keep up with my Star Wars stories without new books? Yeah, that's, I mean, always going to be an issue. I know that I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's going on. You know, we had the April Fool's special come out digitally before all this went down, and you know, we weren't trying to buck the trend and go against comic shops or anything, but it just kind of happened because, you know, Diamond shut everything down as the books were actually coming in. So it's kind of a weird time for everybody. And it's what's interesting most about it, I feel, is that the comic book industry seems to be the only one that goes kicking and screaming into the future. And I'm not saying that comic book shops need to go away or anything like that, because I love comic book shops, but I totally see, you know, very similar to like the video game industry or the movie industry or the you know, iTunes, and how basically digital distribution on all this stuff made it unnecessary for physical media in a lot of cases. And it's just, I don't know, at some point, like, you'd think that comic books will have to update and jump into the same thing that every other field is doing by you know, kind of just going digital at some point. I know that I'd rather not see it, and so Chris, your statement of Diamond dropping the ball by closing, you're not wrong. It's I'm sure they had to look at a ton of different stuff to determine whether or not it made sense to stay open and to be shipping. But you know, we're going to get to the point where more and more comic stores are actually going to be told that they can't be open right now. Similar to you know, what the video game industry is seeing, and the major player in that, right? So it's right now, I would say that it's just an odd time. And I think that Diamond was already having problems beforehand. I don't have any proof or statements that say otherwise, but it seemed like there were times where they weren't necessarily taking into account what's actually going on outside everything else. So it's a tough time for comic shops, but it's even tougher for everyone else. The nice thing about comic shops, and the good news for them, especially if they, you know, obviously we want to see weekly periodicals, but you know, if we just wanted to pick up trades and things like that, we do have the ability to still order trades at comic shops from different vendors and different distributors, and it may seem far-fetched at this point, but who knows? Maybe it's something where you start seeing, you know, Simon and Schuster doing stuff. And they already supply trade paperbacks for all the major players to places like Amazon. But it doesn't take a lot to have a comic book shop actually order from them as well. So I mean, they could set up an account and everything else. So at least Ingram, Simon and Schuster, those guys that actually have commitments with Boom and some other comic companies, they would at least be able to get you trades and stuff even now during all this. So there's still some stuff out there, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm just a humble writer and try to draw, so I don't really know what else to say to all that. And yeah, Eric, I hope that they are paying the employees first. A lot of their employees are actually working from home at least, which is good. But their factories that they have everything shipped into and then have to move the product out to comic book shops. I mean, they have to abide by the same things everyone else does. So social distancing and everything else means that you can't have as many people working. And if you don't have as many people working, then it probably means that you're not going to see as much product in stores, and you're only going to see like the necessities, which unfortunately for a bunch of the comic book industry means that the comic shops that are actually able to do stuff, unfortunately, we'll probably see more Marvel and DC in the shops first because all the other smaller studios may have problems with a bunch of this stuff. And Eric, you're probably right about the DCBS not sending out enough copies of number 3, but I can get you a bunch of those. I'm pretty sure that my stock of number 3s is still pretty good. All right, so I need a character to draw. What do you want to see me draw, Eric? Let's let you have carte blanche here. Nothing? All right. Well, then I am probably just going to let's see, who do I want to draw? I think I'm going to try to draw. I think Crash Bandicoot. Okay. Man, it's a cartoon character, it's not a video game character. No, I'm kidding. Let's see if I can get a good image of him. I guess we're sticking with the orange theme. We've got a redheaded character. We've got an orange thing. And all right, I think I found a picture of Crash. There we go. All right, this is going to be interesting. Eric, I don't know if you find yourself doing this as you draw, but do you find yourself actually like trying to do like the mouth and everything like yourself as you draw, and then you realize that you're doing it and you're like, okay, I've got to stop trying to do that now? Like I always seem to find myself actually like trying to make the face that I'm trying to do that. Yeah, there is a chat delay. It's because I'm on StreamYard, not on YouTube actually doing this, so I'm sure there is a delay in what comes in. But it's all good. All right, so I got my little my doodle on there. So now let's see if I can make this happen. I really like these Pigma brush pens, but the brush tip definitely doesn't stay firm very long, which is fine for someone like me, because my art's not going to end up being firm anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Especially when I draw things like that. Yep, so I'm going to go to the micron again. So everyone, yeah. So I hadn't been looking at the chat as I was trying to do the art. So so you're saying that yeah, everyone does make the faces. That makes me feel a lot better, because my mom used to actually talk about how when I was a kid and I would try to draw, I would always stick my tongue out. So I'd be like sticking my tongue out, trying to stay focused and everything. I always thought that was pretty funny that I would do that. And what I'm seeing with Crash is it's got a little double chin action going on. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. It's also got one of those old school gloves. There we go with that. And now, like you said, Eric, Ginger Day. Let's go ahead and color him in a little bit. I think yellow's the wrong color for that. I think we're going to have to go with a more beige-ish look. Unfortunately, it looks like it's taking too much of the Pigma color with it, but we'll make it work. All right, so there's that. We'll add a little more. We're going to need some brown for this one. And Crash actually has green eyes, so... And I kind of like the idea of Crash being on a red background, which I don't use very often, so we'll go ahead and we'll use the red. One of the things I always like to do is use as few lines as possible to draw hair. And you get away with that by having a brush tip, which is kind of nice. So I tend to use those for that specifically. And of course, he'd be wearing blue pants if I'd actually drawn a full body shot, but we'll have to leave it like so. Oh, totally forgot to put there you go. There's Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, Crash doesn't have a collar. He also doesn't seem to have a neck. He's just got like this big head on top of his other parts. So Chris, you're probably right about the animation side of that. I wouldn't have even thought about that, but yeah, it probably is so that they can kind of ragdoll a head on top. So I'm gonna bring this camera down and actually talk to everybody for a minute. There we go. So Eric and I have actually been talking about the possibility of doing that kind of stuff. So production of issues of Junior High Horrors could happen in days rather than months. Because if we had ragdolls of all the different characters and like just different arms and different legs and everything else, using Photoshop and Illustrator and everything, you can kind of just dump that artwork in there. So I like to call it the South Park method. And while we haven't done it, it'd be really kind of interesting because you can create, very specific backgrounds for the different sets that you use. But then after that, you just dump the characters in, you move the set piece around, you take a frame for it, and then just drop artwork on top of it without backgrounds. And like I said, you could come up with an entire issue of Junior High Horrors using the animation method in almost no time. Obviously, you can't really do that with other comics like Batman or whatever. I guess technically you could, but you buy those comics more for what's actually going on in the story and the artwork and like how it all frames together or whatever. But it would be interesting, because if we were to do something like that with our comic, I could drop all the artwork in, move it around and everything. Eric would still get the credit for the art, but it would be like choreography by Rob Pacek in it or something. I don't know. So there you go, Eric. There's your Crash Bandicoot. Next time I see you, if I haven't sold it by then, it's yours. Let me go ahead and sign it. I have a really funny computer chair. It's actually only a computer stool at this point, and it makes all this racket. So I always wonder if people think that I'm passing gas or whatever while I do stuff like this, because you just hear something like. All right, I think I've got enough time to belt out one more piece. So, Chris Barrett, got anybody you want me to try to draw that's a cartoon character? If you don't, I think I've got one that I'm going to have a lot of fun drawing. Top Cat. Let's see. I don't even know who Top Cat is. Let's see. Oh, I see who Top Cat is. Okay. He's actually probably going to be a lot harder to draw than some of these other characters are. Let's see if I can blow up the image a little bit more. There we go. Okay, well, he's not orange, so I guess that's a plus. I'm gonna struggle with this one. I think the just the idea of drawing a hat on a cat, and it's funny because obviously when I created Frederick the Scaredy Cat, I wanted him to have a hat on. So that always made me laugh that I have a hard time drawing him. Let's go ahead and see if I can do this. So Top Cat also, by the way, does not have a collar. Might have been one of those first Hanna-Barbera characters to not have one. All right, let's see if I can do this now. I think he's gonna have to be a character that we do mostly with Micron. But let's see if we can knock this one out. All right, here we go. All right, as you can see, I'm concentrating more, so I'm not making nearly as much noise. I apologize for that. I'm really starting to find a newfound love for drawing cartoon characters again. Hadn't really tried to draw them all that often or anything. And now I just seem to be into doing it a little bit. So, how's that so far? Top Cat had a collared shirt. That's not what I saw. I'm trying to draw him based on what we and I didn't even realize I still had the camera on me, so you guys probably saw me sticking my tongue out again instead of trying to put him on here with his purple vest and everything, his purple hat. Hope I'm drawing the right Top Cat now that you said that he wore a collared shirt, Chris. Okay, I think we're almost done here. Again, we go light color first. And then we'll come back through with a much darker yellow. And the hat actually has a black strip on it. And for background on this one, I think we're just going to go ahead and stick with green. So once again, I think every character I drew today I had never drawn before. That goes even with Chucky. So I'm pretty happy with that. And thank you, Chris, for the kind words on Top Cat. I'm almost done. And of course, put the markers away. Sign the art. And we'll pull the camera back down. We'll put me on camera to finish this session up. There we go there. And Top Cat. His eyes are a little bit funny. I could try to fix that. There we go. So today's sketch cards included my first attempt at Chucky. I think it came out pretty darn good. Definitely went a little more realistic on that one than I had with other characters. The blue-eyed thing. We stuck with the orange by doing some Crash Bandicoot. And then, of course, for Chris Barrett, Top Cat. So I'll probably post these on my Instagram. I don't know if, when, or anything I will have time to ship anything out. But if you message me on my Instagram, they are available. Again, I'm not an expensive guy when it comes to art. I typically ask people what they want to pay for everything. So you are more than welcome to send me an offer, and as long as I can figure out how to ship them and keep them in good shape for you, I will probably take it. So with that said, folks, I am going to head off of this live stream. Thank you so much for keeping me busy. And once again, our 4 cards today: Chucky, The Thing, Crash Bandicoot, and Top Cat. So you can like me on Facebook, facebook.com/RobPochak. Like me on Twitter @Pochak, or follow me on Twitter @Pochak. Follow me on Instagram @RobPochak. And like, share, do all that fun stuff with the video. Would really greatly appreciate any kind words that people have to say about it. And everybody stay safe, wash your hands, do all that good stuff, stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you next time.